or quit?
You have to commit. I mean, you arguably have, well, not arguably, this is the best receiver tandem, no disrespect to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but all the disrespect. You know what I mean? These two are better, right? And Dak Prescott, that's in his prime, you have to try and win. He's playing at MVP level. You have all this draft capital, 2 picks in the top 20 to go out and improve your defense. If this offense continues to play at the level that they've been playing at, you just need a middle-of-the-pack defense. I think with Quentin Williams and what they've already had with 2 first-round draft picks, they can be able to improve their defense through the draft and some through free agency and get a running back that's good enough to handle that.
While we got to give them credit for making a great trade, you wish they did a little bit what San Francisco did when they signed Mac Jones' 2-year deal. If they tried to extend him when they made the trade, it would have been a lot cheaper. I mean, how many times have we said that about the Cowboys?
Always. We always say that.
But coming off what Pittsburgh let him go.
Right, but once you give up a draft choice, you're sort of already dating. Like, why not try to extend it? And anyway, to your point, when you go to the stadium with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb for the next 3 to 4 years, guys, very few, if any, teams have 2 corners that can match up. Right. You have a way to win the game. It's something they have to get done.
What do you think about the idea of the franchise tag and then possibly exploring maybe a trade with that, or just?
I think you franchise him. I think he's sort of what the franchise tag was made for. Unfortunately, franchise does not rhyme with commit or quit, so we can't use it as an answer in this segment. But I do think that's what the Cowboys are likely to do. And I can see the case for it. He does come from Pittsburgh with some warning labels, right? That might make you want to see it again before you fully commit. The franchise tags are going to be, about $28 million, which is right around T. Higgins' salary. He may not like it, but I think they're in a position where that makes the most sense for them as a franchise.
Isn't Micah Parsons a cautionary tale of, like, don't you think the locker room is going to roll their eyes and go, here we go again?
But they did it with Dak Prescott twice, and he's still on the team. I mean, like, the Cowboys are not afraid to use it, and more often than not, it has worked out for them. In Micah's case, obviously, it didn't.
How do you think Pickens would respond to the franchise tag?
That's what I'm saying. You may lose him, right? Because he may buy – but it's crazy because when you get money, it just makes you more what you already are. And it could, if you give him the money, it could unleash him to bad habits that we saw in Pittsburgh. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
From one wide receiver position to another, I should say situation to another. Coming up, plenty has been said
to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 2 second-round picks. Look, Maxx Crosby is only 28 years old, still one of the most productive pass rushers in the league. And when you think about Tampa Bay guys, they struggled on defense last year. They were 19th in defensive efficiency, struggled getting to the quarterback. They have the 46th pick in this year's draft in the second round and a 2 next year. For a rebuilding Vegas team, get those 2 twos and move on.
All right, speaking of Crosby, he was on the Let's Go podcast. And if you wanted any indication as to where his head is at with all the trade rumors, well, take a listen.
I just want to play football and be left the fuck alone, period. And if people that don't understand that don't fucking know me. People can say whatever they want, but truly, I don't give a fuck besides playing football and winning football games. I give my whole life to this sport every single day.
We were listening to that audio this morning, and there was something you noticed that he didn't say in there.
He didn't say, I want to be a Raider. And so, like, look, I mean, here you are, like, you want to be left alone. Like, just put it out there, right? Like if your complaint is that people don't know what they're talking about when they talk about what you want, here's your platform to tell us. So he doesn't have to, I get it, but he does at some point have to tell the Raiders. And if he doesn't want to be there, remember, they put him on IR at the end of last year when he felt like he could keep playing. He played 100% of the defensive snaps the game before. So I think there's a relationship with him and the organization that would need to be repaired. And again, Max, I apologize if I'm assuming, facts not in evidence, but this is just what we're being told behind the scenes. If he wants to go, I think the Raiders need to talk about doing what Mike T suggested. If he doesn't want to go, then I think you stay and build around it.
If he's out, do you have a good spot for him?
I mean, I think the Baltimore Ravens is an amazing spot for him. At some point, you get tired of just playing meaningless football. You're tired of being out of the playoffs by October, starting to plan on where you're going on vacation early in the season. and you want to have an opportunity to win a championship. You want to have an opportunity when you're a great talent like that. You want to be able to be on the biggest stage to show everybody how great you are. I mean, you talk about the Baltimore Ravens. They did it with Elvis Dumervil. They have a history. They have a defensive-minded coach. They have the ability with a all-star quarterback. Just imagine with the offense and what they're able to do with running the ball with Derrick Henry, to have a game closer, to be able to get to guys like Josh Allen, to be able to get to guys like Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. He would be the perfect fit, and he fits their attitude, but also the relentlessness of how he plays the game. He plays with his hair on fire. He's built to be a Raven.
Realistically, how far away are the Raiders from being competitive to where Crosby would probably enjoy this situation in Las Vegas?
I think it's several years. Look, if I'm running the Raiders, I'm drafting Fernando Mendoza, who I love. I think he'll be a great player, but I'm not necessarily playing him on opening day. We still got Geno Smith. And when you look at the division and you say Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and oh, by the way, the Broncos were the team that were almost in the Super Bowl. We have a lot of holes to fill. You got to fix the offensive line, to me, to really think about playing the quarterback. So if I can move on from Maxx Crosby and get multiple high picks, even though he's a great culture and tone setter, you really got to consider it.
How hot do you think this market's going to be?
If he is available, I think it's almost every team. I mean, he's 28 years old, and he's under contract for less than $30 million a year over the next 2 years. I think teams will line up outside the Raiders suite in Indianapolis to talk about that deal if it's available. But I don't think it's something the Raiders should do if he doesn't want out. I think this is, if you're the Raiders and you're in a position where someone this great wants to play for you, you need to embrace that. I just think he's too important a player for
it doesn't turn into wins, though. And at the end of the day, if you're
not
winning, he actually messes up your draft capital.
I mean, they went through something similar not too long ago with Khalil Mack. It just wasn't that right. They traded him to Chicago. They got all the picks. They squandered the picks. Mack's still playing, but at some point the Raiders got to get it figured out where they're keeping the good players rather than trading them for potential good players. You talked about him wanting to compete for a championship. Here are some guys. Segment called Commit or Quit NFL Edition. Embo, pipe down over there. Mike T, we're going to begin with you. Pittsburgh, do they need to commit or quit when it comes to Aaron Rodgers?
Didn't we answer this question 8 years ago? We got to quit. Didn't Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers see other people? He's going to be 43 years old in December. It is time. We have Will Howard. Let's go get somebody else. Let's honor and celebrate Aaron Rodgers, but we have to quit him in Pittsburgh.
Braz, agree?
Yeah, look, I think if Pittsburgh had a ready-made roster you could just plug a confident quarterback into and expect to win, I could see the argument, right? Aaron Rodgers, but, he is 42. How many more times can you count on him starting all 17 games? And frankly, the Steelers don't have that roster. The defense is getting old and needs constant repair. The run game hasn't come together. Look, I think the Steelers need to think bigger and broader than just, hey, let's run it back with who we had last year.
I mean, love someone? Anyone? A little commit?
Nah, man. Sometimes you just gotta let it go, man. She's just not that into you, man.
All right, we'll keep you moving, Braz. We're gonna come over to you.
Been real.
Commit or quit? Seahawks and Super Bowl MVP running back Kenneth Walker.
They should find a way to commit, but it's going to have to be at the right price for the Seahawks. I think if Kenneth Walker wants to, and I don't know this, but if he wants to go and cash in with a top-of-the-market running back deal off of a Super Bowl MVP performance, I don't think anyone could blame him for that, but I also don't think that's what keeps him with the Seahawks, who have other contract and free agent issues to address. The Seahawks are very strict about their roster building principles and the way they do contracts. Obviously, Sunday night justified all of that in their minds and in the minds of other people who are watching. I think there's a path for Kenneth Walker to stay in Seattle, but if it starts to get too expensive, I think the Seahawks probably look elsewhere. Soccernomics
is a tremendous book. One of the things it talks about, Mike, is the idea that players coming off these monster performances in marquee games like this, winning these awards, tend to become very overvalued. I don't want to compare these two because they're very different, but Anthony Rendon off the World Series for the Nationals, got the huge contract with the Angels, massive overpay. What would you do if you were Seattle with Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, you have to stick to your process, much to Graz's point, and be honest and sober about how good he is. And one area they actually could get better at is production out of their backfield in the passing game. Kenneth Walker had 31 receptions. Zach Charbonnet only had 20. So as we think about a 28-year-old Sam Darnold and where can he improve, getting the ball out of his hands to running backs that can catch the ball, ironically, it was someone like Travion Henderson who did that all season long for the Patriots. So you have to be disciplined. I think there's a deal to be done for Kenneth Walker, and there's massive room for improvement in that Seahawk running back room.
If you're coming off the Super Bowl MVP, though, would you be willing to come down in price, or are you looking to cash in?
Are you calling him Larry Brown?
Right?
Well, I mean, as a running back, you have to strike while the iron is hot, right? And, maybe he may have a better value to somebody else that's out there that may be willing to pay him that money. But do you want to win championships, or do you want to get the money? Now, he's already won the championship, so he's already checked that box. Now it may be time to secure his future, so he may have to go to the highest bidder.
All right, last one. We're going to stick with you on this. The Dallas Cowboys and wide receiver George Pickens. The first mic drop as we get back to the NFL here is what?
This one's easy. A.J. Brown, wide receiver, Philadelphia Eagles, to the Buffalo Bills for the 26th pick in this year's draft. Talking about a win-win. Philadelphia can go draft the next A.J. Brown. He's worn out his welcome. He's had 4 great years there, 32 touchdowns. And at 28 years old, the Buffalo Bills get the frontline, difference-making wide receiver they desperately need.
Is that a deal Bart Scott makes?
Of course, if Philadelphia will do it. I mean, you talk about getting, arguably the top 5, well, not arguably, top 5 quarterback, in the division. And then A.J. Brown has a quarterback that can play at a high level, somebody that's not afraid to force the ball to him. He's going to get all the action that he wants. I've never seen a man so unhappy after winning the Super Bowl in my life. You know what I mean? Maybe he puts the books down. Everything is copacetic out there, and that's how Buffalo can protect that defense too.
I understand Buffalo's position on we score enough points. Why are you guys honest about wide receiver? But obviously you watch them play. Like if you're playing defense against them, you need somebody out there that scares you, right? Like
Correct.
And they haven't had that at the wide receiver position. I just think he would open up a lot of things for them. I know they don't want, when Joe Brady became offensive coordinator, they went more run heavy. That worked for them. I just feel like that got a little stale last year, and they need to reincorporate more of an explosive threat.
Any thoughts about, well, we might need picks for the future? Like that's all got to be out the window at this point. Like we're done. Enough's enough with Buffalo. Like you shove the chips in, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you can't put yourself in a situation where you think back and go,
this is the second
we only
window.
Made this
they're already in their second window, right? Their first window is when they went out and tried to sign Von Miller, hoping they can catch lightning in a bottle and win. So now with a quarterback like Josh Allen, you have multiple windows, but just with different supporting cast. Dawkins getting a little older. You got to start making sure that you take advantage before you lose guys to free agency.
What's our next mic drop?
Kirk Cousins signs with the New York Jets. 38-year-old quarterback. And here's how
How many old people you want to give us?
Here's how 38-year-old quarterbacks think. Can I be protected? And you think about the Jets with Olu Fashanu, Armand Membo, Joe Tippmann. That is a really good offensive line to be protected. Then you think about if we retain Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor, all of a sudden, if I'm Kirk Cousins and I'm close to the end, I can be well protected. It's a good group of skill players. If I'm the Jets, I sign Kirk Cousins, go into the draft with maximum optionality.
What's wrong with age?
Listen, an old dude with a broken down Achilles on that turf, I do not want to see that again twice. You know what I mean? And plus, he's already shunned the Jets as well, so I'm remembering that. Give me Derek Carr. I'll bring Derek Carr off the scrap heap and come back before I go with Kirk Cousins, especially after he played us when he went back and used us as leverage to get money from Minnesota. I ain't forget.
Cross.
Yeah, but they've been through like 3 front offices since then, so they probably have forgotten, right? Like, look, I think it makes sense. I think Mike T's point about how the Jets offense has more going for it structurally than people might realize or might assume, I think is a good one. They've drafted well at the offensive line positions. I think he could do worse.
All right, we've done wide receiver. We've done quarterback. Mic drop number 3.
Maxx Crosby,